My friends, today's update is one that every Australian senior really needs to know about. What's just unfolded could completely change how you receive your age pension from this point on. This isn't just another quiet tweak or a small administrative adjustment. It's a major decision that's already left thousands of older Australians stunned. Many are calling it the biggest shakeup to pension payments we've seen in years. Whether you're already on the pension getting ready to apply or still trying to make sense of what's happening, please stay with me right through to the end. By then, you'll have a clear understanding of exactly what this new move means for you, your regular payments, and your overall financial peace of mind. Before we jump in, if you care about your pension, your retirement income, and your financial security, take a quick moment to hit subscribe and turn on the notification bell. I share genuine fact-checked updates, not rumors, explained in simple, honest language, so you'll never miss an important change that could impact your wallet. Now, let's get into what everyone's been talking about. The government's latest decision that's shaking the entire pension framework. Over the past few weeks, the government has confirmed a significant adjustment to how pension payments are calculated, reviewed, and delivered. The Department of Social Services, together with Centrelink, has quietly introduced new policy measures that could affect how much older Australians receive in their fortnightly payments. Some are describing this as a step towards fairness, while others are worried it might make life harder for retirees already dealing with soaring costs, from groceries to rent and electricity bills. Imagine this. You've carefully planned your entire retirement budget based on your current pension rate, every dollar accounted for. Then, overnight, a government policy changes the rules. That's the situation many seniors are facing right now. So, what's actually happened? This isn't just about the next routine indexation update. It's part of a structural overhaul that changes how the pension is linked to inflation and wages. The government has announced that the formula behind pension increases will now be reassessed. That might sound a bit technical, but in simple terms, it means the system used to calculate your payments is being rewritten. For decades, pension rates have risen based on whichever was higher, the Consumer Price Index or average wages. Under this new review, the government says it's aiming to balance sustainability with fairness. In plain English, that means they want pension increases to be more affordable for the national budget. But it could also mean smaller increases in the future if the formula tightens. Across Australia, seniors are reacting with mixed feelings. Some say reform is needed to protect younger taxpayers, while others believe it's unfair to those who've worked hard and now rely on these payments to survive. And honestly, both sides have a point. You see, the cost of living has never been this high for older Australians. From groceries to energy bills and medical expenses, everything's rising faster than the pension can keep up. So, any decision that might limit those increases feels like a betrayal to many. Let's break down what this means in real terms. At the moment, the full age pension for a single person sits at just over $1,100 a fortnight, and for couples, it's around $1,700 combined. Those figures vary based on income, assets, and living arrangements. But this new change could alter the rate at which those amounts rise every year. That means March and September's indexations might not look like what we're used to. The government says this new method will better reflect real economic conditions, but experts worry that's code for slower growth, especially if wage increases stay weak. Still, officials insist the change is designed to make the system more predictable and financially stable. But retirees argue that predictability doesn't help much if you still can't afford rent. Here's the thing. Most people don't realize this didn't come out of nowhere. It's part of a longer-term reform plan that's been in motion quietly for months. Back in late 2024, Treasury's intergenerational report warned that the cost of supporting older Australians could more than double over the next 4 decades. At that time, the government promised there'd be no cuts. But as we've seen before, changes can sometimes be disguised as adjustments. And for many, even a small adjustment can mean the difference between comfort and financial stress. So what does it mean right now? Mean, right? The good news: no one's pension has been instantly reduced. Your current payments will keep arriving as usual. However, the pace of future increases could slow, depending on how this review is rolled out. The department says the new model will be trial over the next year, with a full rollout expected by mid-2026. That means we're entering a transition period where payment increases might differ between groups. For example, full-rate pensioners could be prioritized for slightly higher adjustments, while those with part pensions, due to superannuation or other income, might see smaller rises. On paper, that sounds fair, but in practice, it often creates confusion. Experts are urging seniors to regularly check their Centrelink online accounts and read any letters or updates about indexation recalculations. If you're part of a couple, your partner's income might now have a stronger impact on your rate than before. Next, we'll dig deeper into how these changes could affect the new income and asset thresholds and what that might mean for your personal payment rate. Because while the government insists that no one will lose their pension, even minor adjustments to thresholds can push thousands of retirees over the limit. Let's start with the income and assets tests, the main tools Center uses to calculate your rate. Under this new plan, officials are reportedly considering tighter income limits for part pensioners. That means if you earn extra income from part-time work, investments, or super, your pension could start reducing sooner than before. The government calls it fairness and sustainability, but critics argue it's effectively a hidden cut for those who've tried to stay financially independent. Here's a simple example. Right now, a single pensioner can earn around $212 per fortnight before their payment starts reducing. For couples, it's slightly higher. But if the new formula lowers these limits even slightly, thousands could see a reduction in their payments. And that's what worries people most: the lack of clear communication. This change wasn't unveiled in a big press event. It slipped through in internal reviews, budget notes, and ministerial briefings. Many seniors only learned about it when groups like National Seniors Australia and CODA raised alarms, calling it a stealth policy shift without proper public consultation. Now, let's pause for a moment and talk directly to you. I know this kind of update can feel stressful and uncertain. You've worked hard, paid taxes, raised families, and supported this nation. You deserve stability, not confusion. That's exactly why staying informed matters so much. So, if you haven't already, hit that subscribe button and turn on notifications. I'm here to keep you updated on what's really happening behind the headlines and official jargon. Now, let's talk about the assets test. Under this framework, the upper asset limits for part pensioners could be adjusted to reflect modern economic realities. Sounds fine in theory, but let's unpack that. Currently, homeowners can have up to about $31,750 in assets before the pension reduces, while non-homeowners can hold around $543,750. Couples have their own limits. If these thresholds change without proper inflation adjustments, many retirees with modest savings could suddenly lose eligibility. Even a shift of a few thousand can push people off the system entirely. That's why some are calling this a policy earthquake, because the ripple effects could be massive. But not all the news is bad. Early reports suggest the government's also reviewing how rent assistance and energy supplements are paid. One proposal includes automatically boosting rent assistance for pensioners in high-cost cities like Sydney, Melbourne, and Brisbane. That could be a real lifeline for many on fixed incomes. However, regional Australians might not see as much benefit if increases are based on location. This has led many seniors to call for transparency. They just want to know who benefits and who misses out. And let's not forget the emotional weight of all this. For many older Australians, every new announcement brings hope for a boost, but also fear of hidden cuts. Pensioners are writing to MPS and newspapers, sharing stories of struggle. One retired nurse from Perth said, "I've lived through recessions and reforms, but this one feels different, like they're rewriting the promise they made to us." She's not alone. Support lines have been flooded with questions like, "Will my next payment drop?" Or, "Do I still get the supplement?" Even Centrelink staff are reportedly waiting for final guidelines. Behind the scenes, the department is preparing what it calls a phase-in model, meaning new applicants may be affected first before existing pensioners. That could soften the impact, but it also risks creating two systems at once, adding even more confusion. Now let's talk about timing. Normally, pension payments are reviewed twice yearly, March 20th and September 20th. Under this plan, there's talk of adding a flexible adjustment period that could trigger extra increases if inflation spikes unexpectedly. That could help during crisis like sudden rent hikes or energy surges. But who decides when those triggers apply? Officials say it'll depend on independent data, though critics fear political influence could creep in near elections. At this stage, it's clear the pension system is entering a new era, one that's more modern, but also more complex. Financial advisors are urging pensioners to check their Centrelink records, review income details, and even book an appointment with a financial information service officer. These free government advisors can help you understand how the rules affect your payments. Before we wrap up, let's step back and ask why. Now, according to the government, it's all about sustainability. Australia's senior population is growing faster than any other age group. People are living longer and healthier, which is great, but it means the pension has to stretch further. Officials warn that without reform, the cost of pensions could become unsustainable. And once again, if you haven't subscribed yet, please do. Every week I share verified updates on pension rates, supplements, and rule changes, clearly explained so you always know where you stand. Now, let's take a deep breath and see the bigger picture. Change is never easy, especially when it affects your income. But information is power. When you stay aware and prepared, you stay in control. This government decision may have shaken things up, but it doesn't have to take away your peace of mind. Stay alert, keep your records up to date, and support one another. Together, the senior community has a powerful voice that truly makes a difference. Thank you so much for being here today. You're not just viewers. You're part of a community that looks out for one another. If this video helped you, please like, share, and comment below with the city or town you're watching from. Let's show how united and strong seniors are right across Australia. Take care, stay informed, and remember, no matter what changes come, every senior deserves dignity, respect, and stability in retirement.